2.5 years ago, in late June of 2018, I made one of the worst decisions of my life. It was around 10 p.m. and I was driving home from my pizza delivery job when I noticed a gas station outside the passenger window of my car. There was an advertisement for Juul starter kits for $25. I felt an urge to turn, and I did. I pulled up and with very little contemplation walked into the store and made the first purchase of a drug that would become a staple ingredient in my body for the next 2 years of my life. That night, I drove around town and repeatedly played with my new toy. The anxiety that had been peltering and pounding on my chest for the longest time was now lifted. I felt free. I wish I had known then that this toy would actually become the cause of more anxiety and less freedom in my near future. It was not the answer that I was looking for. And in my 2 years of vaping, I attempted to quit multiple times. And I say attempted because is it really quitting if you just go back after a couple days or after a couple months? It's not. And eventually I said enough is enough, and I ended my relationship with the drug. I am no longer a vapor or a nicotine user. And this is the video that I wish I had on that night when I felt the urge to turn right. In this video, I want to share with you guys my reasoning for why I no longer am a vapor. These are the reasons why I have this confidence about myself, knowing that I will no longer use nicotine. I will never relapse. I will never go back to that lifestyle. And I hope that these reasons can serve as somewhat of an inspiration and a path or a perspective shift for any of you guys who are considering quitting smoking, or really anybody who has some sort of negative behavior that they are looking to change that may or may not be controlling some parts of their life. Why do I no longer vape? The number one reason is freedom. You know how you can observe other people's problems with the utmost of clarity and you can know exactly what they need to do to get out of their misery, but when it comes to your own life, you're often blind to the problems that you have? Maybe you don't have this problem. Maybe this is just me. Maybe you're 100% self-aware and you have no problems, or you know all of your problems. But look, I have this problem. It took me a long time. It took me years to realize that nicotine, vaping, smoking, it was taking away my freedom. I was a slave to the drug. The drug literally owned me. That's what I mean by that. I was a slave. The drug owned me. Okay, what do you mean? What do you mean you were a slave? Let me tell you a little bit about my experience. Immediately upon waking up, I would need a buzz to feel okay. It got to the point where if I didn't have a buzz every hour, I would start to get irritated and agitated, and I would just get absorbed in the thought of getting it. I would do anything to go get it. And if it went like 2-3 hours without the buzz, I would literally lose my mind. You would not want to be around me. The immediate withdrawals. Like, God forbid if I dropped my vape in my car underneath my seat, like, get out. Like, I would be like flipping the car over. I'd be flipping chairs. I'd be throwing shit all over the place because I had to have it. I needed it. I was literally a psychopath. I was crazy. I mean, at this point, my ability to enjoy life was completely eradicated. I craved a relief from a self-imposed dopamine deficit, Oh, okay. He's throwing out the dopamine word. Watch out. Okay, what do I mean by that? The reason I got addicted is because literally the drug stimulated my nerves. The nerves release the dopamine. The dopamine makes me feel good. But like with any other addictive drug, you develop a dependence, and I did. And I required more and more of the nicotine to make me feel good. And it gets to the point where I was like almost craving the buzz, not for the high of it, but just to avoid feeling like shit without it. In his book, Easy Way to Stop Smoking, Alan Carr states, it's like putting on a tight pair of shoes, walking around in them all day, and then when you get home, you take them off and you feel relief. Like, is that really even relief? You put that upon yourself. You created this deficit. At first, I thought that the buzz was adding this sort of experiential value to my life. But eventually I realized that it wasn't adding anything. It was, if anything, taking away from the rest of my experience. I mean, my conversations with other people, my meals, my time spent even alone by myself, my mind was elsewhere. It was concentrated on getting the drug. It needed it. And I spent loads of time and energy thinking about this. It wasted so much of my time, and I was losing my freedom. Until one day I realized this, and I asked myself this ridiculous question. I said, do I condone slavery? No, I don't. And I don't even know why I hesitated there. That's a lob ball question. No, I don't condone slavery. And I don't think you do either. But then why do you allow it for yourself? That's what I told myself. I realized that, look, I am a slave to this drug. How am I allowing this to happen? I think this is a powerful question anybody can ask themselves. Literally look yourself in the mirror and say, am I a slave to anything? And if you are, why are you allowing that to be the case? Reason number 2 is health. And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this because I know that this video isn't for me, right? I know that whoever's watching this, you probably don't wanna hear a bunch of health benefits of quitting smoking or why smoking is killing you. I know what it's like because I remember lying to myself and saying, look, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I made up all these excuses to hide the fact that this was not a healthy habit. And at the time, I felt this super strong dichotomy in my life because on one side, I was getting obsessed with health and fitness, but I was getting into eating healthier, working out at the gym, new diets, new workouts, new different styles of living like fasting, and yet I was still vaping, which didn't make any sense how that could fit with my lifestyle. I realized that I was either going to take my health serious or I wasn't. There was no middle ground. I didn't want to be simultaneously building my body up in the gym and in the kitchen and then bringing it down by going to take smoke breaks in the bathroom or in the car or wherever I wanted to. But that's all I really want to spend on it. By all means, if you're a cigarette smoker, vape, it's definitely better for you. But if you're a vapor, don't keep making these excuses about how it's really not that bad for you. Like, you know it's not that good for you. Please. Reason number 3, pleasure and pain. The pleasure and pain principle states that it is human nature to pursue pleasure and avoid pain. This was talked about from Aristotle 2,000 years ago, and Sigmund Freud talked about it and really made it popular. But the point is, we pursue pleasure and we avoid pain. And it wasn't this idea that changed my perspective, but actually when I asked the second question and I started studying Stoic philosophy, Stoics would view this and they would say, look, yes, human beings pursue pleasure and they avoid pain. But it's actually this pursuit of pleasure that results in more pain and less pleasure in the long game. The Stoics seek out pain and discomfort because they realize that in doing so, they will actually experience more pleasures and less pain in the long game. It was really this philosophy that changed my perspective when I applied it to smoking. And I realized a couple things. One, the act of smoking is just too easy. Like, it is instant gratification. It is a rush of dopamine. It is a crafted, designed product that can sit in your pocket and you can just whip it out whenever you want and have a super stimulus in your mouth, hijack your brain to make you feel amazing. And that's way too easy. Like, pleasure should not be that easy. And the other thing I realized was quitting is hard and it's scary. And I'm scared of the withdrawals, but I need to seek out this discomfort. I need to pursue it because if I want to be happy and I want to actually experience the pleasures of life, of ordinary life, I need to seek out this discomfort and end my addiction to the drug. Why am I talking so much about why? Because your why has to be very strong. When you quit something, your why, your reasoning for doing it is what pushes you through the process. It's what gets you through the urges. Naturally, your brain is going to try to make up excuses. It's going to tell you it's okay to relapse. Like, it's okay to go back. It's going to try to take the easy way out. This is the pleasure-pain principle. Your brain wants the pleasure. It's avoiding the pain. But to really make it through, to push through the trenches of withdrawal, you need to have a solid why that is in place. If you don't have a strong why, I'm going to share with you guys an activity that really helped me define mine. And I got it from the YouTuber Better Ideas, who made a video about how to stick to habits. And in the video, he shared this small activity that really changed my perspective. Essentially, the idea is take a blank sheet of paper. On the left side, write to quit, and the right side, write to not quit. And then draw a line down the middle. Then go down, draw a line horizontally to create 4 boxes. And in the top left, you're gonna write benefits. Bottom left's gonna be negatives. Top right's gonna be benefits. Bottom right's gonna be negatives. And you're gonna go through and list out the benefits and the negatives of both alternatives. For example, to quit, one benefit would be more freedom. A negative, the withdrawals suck. On the other side of things, to not quit, what are the benefits of not quitting? And that might seem crazy, but maybe it's the buzz that you crave. Maybe that's a benefit for you. And a negative one for me was money. I probably spent like $2,000 on vapes in my 2 years of doing it. That's a big negative. Think of your own, and hopefully this list will help you realize that the habit is an unattractive one. The truth is, I do believe that having a strong why really can push you through in the tough times of quitting a drug. But the truth is, even with a strong why, you can still crumble in the trenches of withdrawal. And if you're curious about how I quit smoking and vaping, let me know and I can make another video about that. If this is your first time seeing my face, I apologize for that. I make videos about well-being and wisdom here, really talking about how to be healthier, how to be more aware. If that kind of thing interests you, please consider subscribing. If you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, hit dislike. Let me know what you didn't like. And I'd love to hear your guys' reasoning behind why you quit if you've already done it. Thank you so much for making it all the way this far. Please have a great rest of your day.